Hey everybody, it's PartyElite, kicking off what I hope is one of a few mini-series I've recorded during the Humankind Victor Open Dev session. I've seen many questions and curiosities mentioned out and about, and I have a few of my own, so I'm looking to experiment with a few different things. With this mini-series in particular, we're going to test the viability of a one-city mercantile culture through the ages. Can we be the most famed people, primarily through trade and the expansion of one city? Now, this doesn't mean we won't fight any wars or subjugate our enemies, but our primary focus will be mercantile in nature, looking to dominate trade by any means necessary. Now, this series will continue well beyond the end of OpenDev since I've pre-recorded it, so don't hesitate to subscribe if you want to follow along, and as I said earlier, hopefully this is the first of a few mini-series I was able to record during OpenDev. Now, without further ado, let's begin. And as we begin, there's one last thing I'd like to mention. Over the course of this mini-series, as we come across various game systems and mechanics, I will do my best to explain them so we can all follow along, but I'll be keeping those explanations relatively brief. This isn't really a how-to guide kind of a series, it's more an experiment with how far we can push humankind, the game I mean. With that said, if I leave anything unclear or you have any questions whatsoever, leave them in the comments down below and I will try and answer them for you. If I have the answer myself, I'll bring them to you. If I don't, then I'll try and seek them out and bring you those answers. Now, I read all the comments all the time, so even if you're watching this video or any of the videos in this series months after they release, feel free to leave your questions down below and I'll try and respond. Apart from that, if you have any feedback, whether it's for this format or for the developers, for the game in any way, shape, or form, leave those down below as well, and I'll take to heart what's for me, and I'll pass on what's relevant to the developers as well. With that said, let's get this party started, shall we? The first order of business is to get out of the Neolithic era and stop being a nomadic tribe. In order to do that, we have to acquire an era star. In order to do that, well, we can take one of three approaches. Either we grow our population to a total of 5, or we run around the map and acquire knowledge curiosities, a total of 10, or we hunt and kill 3 animals. While we only need one era star to enter the next era and settle down, it's not a bad idea to actually chase all 3 of them, because acquiring an era star gives you fame, and fame is what determines the ultimate winner at the end of a game of humankind. There are other benefits besides as well, but we'll touch on those as we get to them. But the first order of business over here is to actually hunt down this deer. We're going to move in. We have the high ground, so there's no real challenge over here besides it's a deer and we're at full health. So we're going to auto-resolve this battle, but we'll take a look at battles in the future as well as they get more and more interesting so we can see how that kind of plays out. It is an interesting factor in humankind, so we're definitely going to be exploring it. As I said, we want to have a monopoly on trade by any means necessary, so, fighting will occur. Now, as we get that kill, you'll see that we're sort of one step closer to getting the Hunter Star, but we're also a step closer to having another sort of hunting party form, let's call it. And that's what we need in order to grow our population. We can also get these bars to fill up by picking up food. There's one up over here. There was another down over here, but it's out of our sight right now. We'll go and scoop that up at a later point as well. And there are a couple of other ways to pick up food too. Now, as I sort of point out all these pickups, I want to mention that I am somewhat familiar with this map. During OpenDev, we have the same map every time you play. That's going to change for the final release of the game. And while I don't have everything memorized entirely, some things are familiar to me, and I'll point out what I'm doing because of my memory, just so, I'm being transparent about it, I guess. But let's go ahead and pick up the food over here. And you can see how that's kind of grown even further, where we're close to growing our population. And I believe there's more food somewhere over here. I think food is actually food and knowledge curiosities, I think, are randomly dropped. I'm not 100% sure. But we are, at the moment, competing with other tribes as far as these pickups are concerned as well. So if somebody else beats us to a pickup, then they've got it, and we won't find it when we get there. Let's go ahead and scoop this one up. And as you can see, we've grown by 1 step. You can see up over here as well, we're 2 out of 5 right now. Let's go ahead and actually split this party up and send this hunting party down towards that other food we saw somewhere down over here. At the same time, we're going to send this original party down to ransack this sanctuary. I don't think we can reach it right now. It'll probably take us, next turn we'll get there. Ransacking a sanctuary prevents animals from being spawned over here, and it also gives us some more food with which to grow. But that's our turn over here. Moving on. New deer has spawned. Hopefully we can, we should be able to attack and kill that as well. In fact, we could do that first. just because it is over here, we could like use the high ground for an extra advantage and hopefully take even fewer losses. I don't think that actually makes a difference, to be honest. But either way, auto-resolve that one as well. There's our victory. Nice and easy. 2 out of 3 for Hunter Stars. And we'll take that Sanctuary down next time. When you get into a battle, all the units that were involved in that battle, their turn is used up. Like, that's the last thing you can do in a turn. Well, that's something to keep in mind as we move forward as well. And as we go around, again, we're trying to take this mercantile approach, right? So we want to keep our eyes peeled for resources. For example, here you can see sage. Down over here, we just found a marble deposit. These all have their own effects, as you can see listed over here. But beyond those effects, from just exploiting the resource itself, you can make money by trading. And again, since we're going sort of the merchant route, that's a key factor for our decision-making process. All right, so let's go ahead and scoop up the food over here. And now, because we have 2 parties moving separately, we're able to hypothetically grow at, twice the rate. Oh, here's our first knowledge curiosity. Let's go ahead and pick that up. And you can see we get influence and science points. Influence, you can see here right away. It's what's used to establish outposts, and outposts are used to determine, or rather to claim territories. Territories are outlined with these dotted lines, as you can see, and these outposts can, down the line, be turned into full-fledged cities, or multiple outposts can be attached to a single city, which is what we're going to be trying to do. Now, over here, we actually found another resource. We've got obsidian over here as well. This is actually a pretty good region to claim, and there are quite a few good regions up over here, and there's some good regions up over here as well for the mercantile approach, at least in my opinion. We're going to try and claim this spot before these guys are able to. This is another nomadic tribe in the Neolithic era. We are, as I was saying earlier, competing for the same resources and for the same spaces. I wouldn't be surprised if they strike at this sanctuary next turn themselves. So I do wonder if I have one more turn left to establish an outpost. Now, an outpost can be moved after it's been established, but if they establish an outpost first and they claim the territory, then I can't claim the territory for myself unless I remove their outpost, and they won't they won't like that. So let's go ahead and actually drop an outpost down over here right away. I don't know if it's the best spot for it. In fact, it probably isn't. You can kind of see the resources it'll have access to. You can also, we don't have to be adjacent to these resources, by the way, in order to exploit them. We just have to be in the same territory. But we're standing here. We don't have any movement points left this turn. So we can just drop this down over here. And as you can see, it'll cost me 5 influence to establish this one. So let's go ahead and do that. We're safe on a couple of sides. And no high ground advantage or anything, but we can always move it. It costs some resources, but I want to make sure I capture this spot. Now, up over here, just to show you really quickly, if I try to establish another outpost right away, you can see that the next one costs 20 influence. So the price escalates as you add more and more outposts. And not only that, but the if you're not adjacent to an existing bit of territory that you own, it's more expensive as well. Let's go ahead and ransack this sanctuary as promised, get that food, and grow our population even further. And that's the turn there. I want to try and move relatively quickly over here because there are 10 cultures per era, and there can only be one culture like across the map. So if I want to pick a culture, I need to get there first. And I do have a culture in mind for this mercantile approach, so I want to make sure, yes, that I pick up as much as I can pick up before we move on to the next era, but I also want to make sure I get there before somebody else steals the culture that I want to pick out for myself. Looks like they are ransacking the sanctuary, and they have doubled as well over here, so we have to be a little careful. They don't have to formally declare war on us or anything in order to, attack us. They can do it at any point in time if they so choose, and so we just want to be careful not to actually force an engagement between us and them. A couple of knowledge stars up over here. Let's go ahead and try and scoop this one up before they can, and then we'll grab that one as well. And with 2 more knowledge stars, or not knowledge stars, sorry, knowledge curiosities, we'll have enough to establish another outpost. I wouldn't mind establishing one over here. It would give us access to sage and ebony. And I should mention as well, over here, we do have access to another unknown strategic resource. Strategic resources are used to recruit fancier units, depending on what the resource is. I'm not actually sure which one this is, but apart from that, it can also be sold for wealth. So, a very valuable spot, this one. I'm glad we picked it up. And the turn there, let's see what these guys do. They've grown a bit further as well. I wonder, oh, they're ransacking me. That's interesting. Okay. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Now, there's a couple of ways we can tackle that. We can probably defeat them one-on-one, but I wonder if I shouldn't bring some of these guys back over to sort of tip the balance in our favor. It'll take 7 turns for the ransack to complete, so we do have some time to respond to that. Let's see, we can come up over here with these guys. All right, let's go ahead and scoop up the food over here first, right? Let's go ahead and move towards this knowledge curiosity with these guys. And let's go ahead and move up to this one with these guys. Pick up those curiosities, circle back, and then try and eliminate these guys over here who are trying to ransack our outpost. Wow, I've never seen the AI do that. I've played this open dev a couple times. I've never seen the AI actually try and ransack one of my outposts. They're getting fancy. They're learning. Continue to explore up over here. Again, I'm not exactly sure where everything is, so I'm not making predetermined moves or anything. And again, there's always a surprise in store, I suppose, as well. We're done up over here. We could go ahead and ransack this sanctuary, and that way we will grow our population as well. Ransacking a sanctuary takes only 1 turn. Ransacking outposts takes 7, or I think longer in later eras, but I'm not 100% sure on that. All right, good. We've grown in size a little bit over here. These guys have decided not to complete the ransack. Okay, good. I wonder what they were thinking there. Maybe they realize that we are the superior tribe and they've learned their lesson or decided better against it. Either way, we've grown here. Let's go ahead and split up this group as well, just to explore a bit faster and to also get this kill over here. Yeah, well, it's a deer. Why am I so worried? Instant battle resolution. We'll win this. And there's our era star unlocked from having hunted and killed 3 animals. So we've got our era star that gives us a bit of fame. We can again unlock more to get even more fame, and I think we're going to try and at least get that growth star. Getting more knowledge curiosities is not just good for our influence to kick us off, you know, to get us a good head start in the next era, but it also helps with the science points, which gives us technological advantages early on in the next era. But I do wonder if that's too much of a risk to take. Either way, the Hunter Star has been earned. We've earned a little bit of fame, and hopefully we'll earn a little bit more. The hunt over here was victorious. Great. And would you look at that? Another knowledge curiosity right over here. Apart from this, though, we also have salt up here. Salt is a pretty good resource. As you can see, it's got some good effects. So this isn't a bad spot to claim. And more curiosities. Okay. Okay, well, that's good. Not going to complain about that. We have this one over here as well, which... over here. Yeah, beautiful. And some more food to grab over here, too. Alright, this is not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So, alright, we've claimed this one. This area over here, you can see the blue marking, giving us marble and obsidian. If we claim this one, we will have sage and ebony as well, all luxury resources. There's also this mystery strategic resource from earlier. There's salt up over here, and that is good to have. There's copper over here, which is also good to have. Very important in the sort of ancient era with bronze working and all that. You need copper for bronze, right? So that's not bad either. The next outpost after this one costs a significantly higher amount, which is why I'm a little sort of hesitant, I guess, to jump to a conclusion. You know what? I think we'll stick to the central one. So let's go ahead and keep these guys moving up this way. I believe there's like horse or something over here. Let's go ahead and move up this way. And of course we get blocked off. That is just the game letting us know that we've got our era star so we can move on to the next era. But remind me later. I'm not in a rush, and hopefully those aren't my sort of famous last words today. Ooh. The people who are first right now with regards to their fame, they're the ones who discovered the desert that's somewhere down over here. And by discovering natural wonders first, you acquire some fame. And it's an important sort of driving force behind exploration as well. You want to try and explore various spots so that you're able to discover those discoveries first and acquire the fame that comes with it. Go ahead and pick up this over here. More influence, more science points. And over here you can see as well there's gemstones. Very valuable for a mercantile people. I think that goes without saying. Let's continue exploring up over here. You can see these guys have claimed this territory, so they'll have access to copper before us. But there is more copper to be had up over here. Again, I'll let you know the decisions I make because I'm aware of the map. I believe it's a bit more transparent and fair. Ooh, this is not a bad spot to come to. We've got our knowledge star. That's excellent. And we can still go around and collect even more. There is still more science points and influence to collect. But I want to make sure I don't get beaten to the punch with the next era. So why don't we go ahead and see if we can't pick up food somewhere. These guys up over here. It'll take 2 turns, eh? Can we find food somewhere else up over here, maybe? Ooh. We've discovered Mount Roraima. Again, you can see that 50 fame that we've earned, putting us into first place now. And I guess Mount Roraima is this over here. Oh, and would you look at that? There's actually food up over here. And there's the copper I was talking about up in this area. We have to go all the way around? We're not going to make it there. That's going to take us too long. Let's go ahead and establish this outpost over here, though. And again, this will give us this territory with the sage and ebony. This is a better spot for it, says the game. Don't disagree. I like this spot because it's got the high-ish ground. It's got, it's protected over here. You can't be attacked from over there. But if this is a better spot because of the sheer amount of resources we'll have access to, then I guess I can't argue that. And again, you don't have to be adjacent to the resources to take advantage of them. Ooh, but there's food here too. Alright, let's go ahead and found this outpost. Over here again. If we regret it, we can always move it later. If we regret our decision. Hopefully we're not going to be fighting too many wars right off the bat, but I do want to be prepared for the inevitability. Let's be honest here. I'm going to give it one more turn because we can actually get that last star. Urgent affairs require my attention. A tribe's legacy. Now, these are events that come up from time to time in Humankind, and they can really change how each playthrough goes. They affect a variety of things, and this one actually sort of affects us throughout the rest of the game, this early decision. You stand at a crossroads. For many moons, the tribe has trekked the wilderness, slowly, tortuously learning the secrets of this world. How the materials hidden in the deep places and in plain sight might be fashioned to the tribe's advantage, how the beasts and plants of the lands and seas can be most fruitfully harvested, and how myths and stories can glacially but inescapably give power over our greatest enemies, other tribes. Now you must decide in what domain the tribe will truly sharpen its knowledge for the ages to come. Will you be renowned as makers, farmers, or charmers? So if we go with makers, we get the Wattle and Daub legacy trait, which improves industry. If we go with farmers, we get the plant lore legacy trait, which improves food production. If we go with storytellers, we get astronomy, which improves science. I'm quite a fan of storytelling myself. If you're familiar with the channel, you'll know that. So while it might not be the ideal choice, I mean, I don't know. I feel like being scientifically advanced is more important. I mean, obviously you don't want your people starving to death, and if you're not producing buildings and stuff, you'll be slowed down in other ways. But I do like what comes along with storytelling. We will create myths that spread our renown, our beliefs well beyond our lands. I quite like that. So let's go with storytellers. Why not? It makes sense as well. As merchants, you go traveling around spreading tales of your homeland and whatnot. Yeah, I quite like it. Storytellers it shall be. And with that, we hit the end turn button and hope that my culture pick doesn't get robbed from me as this turn flips over. Let's go ahead and pick up the food with these guys because they're a bit more full up. Hopefully, nah, they can't because we got to cross the river. All right, let's head you down over here. I know there's food up there, but there's also food down here. Not going to be enough, is it? What about these guys? They're close. We can pick this up. That might just trigger that final. There it is. Beautiful. And you can see our fame just rocketed up a bit further. Wonderful. Acknowledge that. Go ahead and send these guys up. And send you up as well. There's more stuff to collect. There's more stuff to discover as well. Some more natural wonders and things like that we'll want to discover up over here to acquire fame. But apart from that, feeling pretty good about this start. The next outpost to establish will cost us 60 influence. As you can imagine, that'll take some time to acquire. And I don't think I want to wait that long before we pick our next culture. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on down over here. Oh, damn it. This is why you shouldn't rush. I could have picked that up and that would have helped us moving forward. But hey, it is what it is. All good. I say we enter the next era. We've got our stars, or our fame, I should say, and the 1 star we need. Yeah, it's time to pick. So, every era has 10 cultures to pick from. Those of you that are familiar with the game will be familiar with this system, but the idea, really quickly, really briefly, is that each culture has its own unique quarters and its own unique unit, as well as sort of an extra factor that gives them a certain type of benefit. There are also different classifications, and we'll touch on those as it becomes relevant. But we've got like expansionists, we have scientists, we have builders. Each of these will have different capabilities, different things they can take advantage of, either passive or active abilities. But like I said, we'll touch on those as we come across them. So there's the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Harappans, the Hittites, the Mycenaeans, the Nubians, the Olmecs, whoa, I mean to scroll like that, the Phoenicians, and the, oh, I always mispronounce this and I apologize for that. So there's quite a variety. Again, it's 10 per era. We as merchants would either go with the Phoenicians, they are the merchant archetype as well, or we would go with Nubians. And what I like a lot about like this decision over here is that even though they're both merchant types, they're quite different. So the Nubians, anything under the sun can be exchanged for enough gold. I like that. Golden Dreams, +4 money on luxury resource deposit and +4 money on strategic resource deposit. We have those. That'll be, quite good for us. We've also got the Mero Pyramids as the emblematic quarter, I believe is the official term the game uses. They can only be built once per territory, but you can see the benefits they give us. +2 industry, +2 money. The reduction in stability comes from any quarter that you build. So that's a constant. But you can see we also get +3 money per adjacent maker's quarter and +1 trader slot on city or outpost. So quite a good unique structure there. And the Taseti archers are our unique unit. They are among the best archers available in the early eras, and that's quite the advantage as well. So those are the Nubians. Let's take a look at the Phoenicians, the other choice for a mercantile approach. Unlike the lands, the seas give the merchant no obstructions. And these guys, they're sort of special, so to speak, is trading pioneers. Modify all constructible buyout costs by 20%. Anytime you want to pay for a construction as opposed to use production and turns for it, it'll be cheaper for you. Great. Now, because they are seafarers, their trade, their merchant is expressed in a different way. They've got havens as their unique quarters, their emblematic quarters, sorry. Again, that -10 stability, that's for every quarter, no matter emblematic or not. But you can see +2 money per adjacent coastal water, +2 money per adjacent lake, +1 trader slot on city or outpost. It also replaces the harbor structure. You can spawn naval units at the haven, and it'll also allow units to get out to sea without spending any movement points to do it. So you can see just how different these two approaches are, right? The Phoenicians and the Nubians. I find that quite interesting. The Phoenicians also, by the way, have the Byreme as their unique unit. Now, because of our approach so far, we're actually going to go with the Nubians. We've been chasing these luxury resources and the strategic resources as well. So the Nubians make most sense for us. Let's go ahead and adopt that culture. Yep. There's just a quick summary of what you get, and just a look at your new outfit that's determined by the culture you're picking. Let's go ahead and confirm the Nubians. Excellent. With that done, next turn, I'm not able to pick this up. We'll continue to explore the land and hopefully find some more sources of fame. But there's another important decision for us. A world aflame. In the distance, a thin cord of smoke cuts up into clear blue skies. Fire. Calling a few tribesmen, you run closer, the smell of cindered bark and burning pine growing stronger with each footfall. You spy dancing flames and suddenly find yourselves on the edge of a settlement on fire. Many of the structures are ablaze, but even with the smoke and flames, you can see these abodes are marvels of craftsmanship. You're about to direct your men to put out the fires with loose soil when you see short, shadowed figures running away. Youths. They could become part of your tribe if you give chase now, but that would mean losing these secrets of construction. What is your choice? So again, an example of a decision that comes up, we can either chase these guys down and acquire a new hunting party, which is just another, this is a way to add to our growth. We don't need that. It would help with our scouting, moving forward, or we could extinguish the flames to reduce the cost of a research item as the time comes. You know what? I think we're going to go ahead with the chase over here. The reason for that is because I would like to explore the territories more quickly and hopefully establish more outposts and claim them for myself more quickly as well. So let's go ahead with the chase here. Extinguish might be the better call, but I don't know if we'll be chasing this research too early on for it to actually matter. So let's go with chase, and we will get ourselves another... look at that. I wonder if... it doesn't really make a difference. Let's go as far as the turn will let us go so we can continue to explore. Yeah, sure, we'll pick up some food. It's not going to make a difference because as we end the turn, we enter the new era, and our old methods of growth and development are replaced with the, at the time, modern era, I suppose.
The challenges of a young civilization. It's hard keeping up with the neighbors when they have the wheel and you don't. Humankind learns quickly that everyone contributes. If you're terrified of wild animals, you can grow lentils or catch fish. Tribes settle towns. Towns develop markets, and markets begin the exchange of goods, services, and most important, rumors and hearsay.
I quite like those little cutscenes. I like the writing in them especially. It's hard keeping up with your neighbors when they have the wheel and you don't. Like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Alright, so we are now in the Ancient Era. Formerly, the game referred to it as the Bronze Era, but it includes the Iron Age as well. So it's the Ancient Era now, and we are the Nubians. You might have noticed our, attire has changed for our units. The music will have changed as well. And of course, there's a lot more to do now, including research, establish cities, all sorts of stuff. So let's continue our exploration as well. I just want to see what else is around us. Again, things start to get a little fuzzy for me. I don't have everything memorized, as I was saying earlier. So I'm not as familiar with stuff down over here, though I do know there's some valuable stuff up over here. So let's go ahead and confirm the existence of all that. I don't know if we can... Yeah, no, can't. Walked myself right into a dead end over here. Wonderfully done, party. Wonderfully done. These guys can go ahead and explore up over here. I know this kind of comes to an end, but I do want to sort of uncover all parts of the map. Let's go ahead and pull these guys up over here. The next outpost we establish will cost us 60 influence still. And the only way to generate influence now is by having a city established. I want to try and claim this as soon as possible. There is salt over here. There's salt up here too. I'm a little worried about where these guys will go to expand. They've established an outpost down over here. I'm not sure which way they'll go next. So that's a little concerning. There's also copper over here. So if we establish an outpost here, we'll have copper and salt. This is a good spot. We should definitely try and grab this for ourselves. Meanwhile, up over here, let's continue exploring as well. See what's up over there. Ooh, Lake Baikal. Another 50 fame for us. Fantastic. Up over here. Now, there is a sanctuary. Could ransack it for gold. Like I said, things change when you enter the new era. We might as well. Let's go for it. And down over here, let's get these guys moving up as well. We might want to establish an outpost down over here too, take advantage of the horses, but this territory is rather empty outside of those horses, so I'm not sure if I want to, spend the influence on that just quite yet. Down over here, this outpost has been established. This one is still being established, 2 turns left. So I'm thinking we go ahead and convert this into a city. Make this our capital. It seems relatively well defended. We can, again, relocate the outpost if we want to, give it better high ground or something. I think we'll be okay. Famous last words, I know, but I think we'll be okay. Let's go ahead and get you converted into a city. There you have it. Kerma has been founded. Again, we didn't have to be adjacent to these exploitable spots to take advantage of them, and in fact, we aren't yet taking advantage of them. We need to actually research something first in order to do that. So let's go ahead and pick out that research. It will be the calendar. We need artisans' quarters in order to take advantage of resources from the ground. We actually had enough science points left over, or we picked up enough science points to immediately unlock calendar, which is excellent. Let's move on to carpentry next. It'll take us 10 turns. It'll give us access to those Tasseti archers as well as lumber yards and the action to clear forests for extra production. But apart from that, it'll also allow us to invent the wheel, which will give us roads, and then we can look down at sailing and trade expeditions and things like that. So there's a lot to look forward to down that line. Now, actually, since we have unlocked calendar instantaneously, we can go ahead and establish the artisan's quarter. Yeah, this is not the best spot, I'll be honest. We don't have the greatest amount of production as far as production speed is concerned, but hey, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We could take advantage of this obsidian first, right? I think that's the better call. How's the marble going to help us? +2 industry per worker per marble, okay, versus +2% industry per obsidian. In that case, let's go ahead and chase the marble first. It'll take 12 turns or 160 gold. We'll be able to afford that soon. So let's go ahead and continue exploring. Actually, let's send these guys back and maybe help the population of Kerma grow a bit faster. If we disband them within the city, then they'll help grow the city up a little bit, and we can start using the terrain just a bit quicker as well. Successfully plundered. That's up over here. Good stuff. Pick up that gold. Let's keep moving and exploring. And there's more to find up over here. And there's actually quite a lucrative territory up over here as well. I don't know if I'll be able to claim it before somebody else does, but if we can claim it, there's a lot of good resources up over here. Now, Back down over here. Let's keep these guys. Get these guys up over here. Let's get these guys coming down. They're closer. I really want to acquire this territory. I think it'll be good for us. Move you guys up over here. What do we got here? We've got some sage, another sanctuary. We can burn that down for more gold next turn. Fair enough. As you can see, having established a city, our influence is beginning to grow. Though we will want to make some decisions that help influence grow a little bit faster, sooner. Moving up over here, we've got some mercury over here. And over here we have some lead. Good for research and good for, well, they're both good for science, actually. What do you know? Alright, fair enough. It's just like, as you go around exploring, you go like, well, this is a good spot to take. This is a good spot to take. No place ever feels like a bad spot to take. Go ahead and end that turn, and you can see our outpost over here has been built. Now, with this outpost built, there are a couple of things we can do. Either we leave the outpost as a separate entity of its own, but if we do that, all it can do is either upgrade into a city or create artisans' quarters. Artisans' quarters are the same thing that I used to take advantage of the marble over here. So we can go ahead and take advantage of, let's say, the sage is just for stability. The ebony is also just for stability, but again, we can trade it as well. You know, when the time comes to open those negotiations. Let's go ahead and take advantage of the sage first. So this is one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is actually attach outposts to a city. It costs some influence. That's a very important currency influence. But if you do that attachment, there's pros and cons. The con is that the construction queue is shared. So right now I have an artisan's quarter being built at Kerma, and I have one being built at this Outpost Ecleal as well. They're going to happen simultaneously. But if I attached them, I could only do one at a time. However, the pro is that, as you can see, in this territory, I can only build artisans' quarters and other like exploitation methods. But if I want to have access to farmers' quarters, makers' quarters, you know, infrastructure, all this kind of other fancier stuff, if I want to do that, I'll actually have to attach the outpost to a city. And we will be doing that down the line when it becomes essential and relevant. All right. Let's keep on moving up over here. Let's go ahead and ransack the sanctuary. Again, get that gold. It'll be important. Isn't it always? And down over here, let's keep these guys moving down to become part of the population. Up over here, again, we'll keep exploring as well, just to see the lay of the land, familiarize ourselves with what else is going on. Lead up over there, tea down over here, which is a little too far away from us, isn't it? I wish I could get in there nice and early. No such luck. What do we have left? These guys over here. I'm going to pull you over to here. Send these guys further up. I know the coast is somewhere up over here. And there should be another faction somewhere over here as well, just off to the side. But we're just about to head into this territory, which is quite lucrative. I don't think we'll be able to claim it for ourselves. You guys are still able to move. Let's move you up. You can see there's an unknown strategic resource. I know that to be iron, which is obviously quite valuable as we move forward. And it looks like the Olmecs have entered the fray, as it were. Fair enough. Keep moving down this way. Ecleal has grown its population as well. And you can see over here we have this lucrative region. We've got silk, we've got incense, and we've got what we know to be iron. Incense, as you can see, is quite valuable. +5 money per incense on all cities. Like, that's huge as far as making money is concerned. So, hopefully, maybe we can establish an outpost over here. But, as you'll see, it'll cost 120 influence to do so. So highly unlikely. And you can see over here we have the border with the Olmecs as well. They just recently became the Olmecs, but you can see the color over there. So might be some border friction up over there. What else have we got going on? These guys get you down over here. We'll go ahead and disband them in here. And again, population is a mechanic you'll be familiar with if you've played similar games. You can assign them to various tasks to sort of accelerate various productions. Let's go ahead and disband you. Yep. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. At present, they're doing food. Sure, it'll grow our population faster. If I switch you over to industry, it goes from 9 turns to 5 turns over here. Are you kidding me? That's a significant difference. But no, you can see our population will be dropping if we do that. Let's stick with food production, grow our population, and then we'll have more people to kind of move around and make progress with. These guys, and how much do I need again? 20 influence. I say I should claim this. Get that salt, get that copper. What am I missing out on? Nothing really. I don't want to make and you can see as I hover around, the further away it is from pre-existing territories of mine, the more expensive it gets as far as influence is concerned. 70 influence up over here. Down over here we have 120. 120 up over there. These guys are also 120, right? But this will just cost us 20. I say we should establish over here. Yeah. Go ahead and found that outpost. They'll take 2 turns, and then we can start taking advantage of some of these strategic and luxury resources as well. Cool. Keep these guys exploring up over here. And I believe we have orders to give over here as well. Let's go. Move a little bit further up here. Now, I'm actually quite curious about this start. Typically, I haven't started kind of this far to the west, as it were, so I'm curious how it'll affect my, my overall game. Ooh. These guys have become the Mycenaeans. Reached the ancient era as well, and it seems that word of our empire has now reached the Mycenaeans, and I imagine the Olmecs as well. And is there something to talk about here, or are we just saying hello?
I greet you.
Just saying hello. You as well? Just saying hello. Now we could open, like, we can open up trade right off the bat if we want to, but I think I'd rather they propose the trade deals. They're likely to. They're likely to, and we could try it. Why not?
Hail, friend. I have a notion which would benefit us both.
Dare refuse me.
I would not inflict this proposal upon my people.
Very well. That's how you'll phrase it. They'll come back to me. They'll come crawling back. Fair enough. Up over here, yeah, you can see we've got San Lorenzo of the Olmecs over here. We can try and hold them back, but they've already pushed through. They're going to claim this territory for themselves, almost certainly, which is, that's fine. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's go ahead and group up, though, in case they get a little aggressive. They can, you know, attack our units to force us back without declaring a formal war. So don't be surprised if that does happen. Let's see if we can't prevent them from making too much progress over there, though. Like I said, there's some valuable resources up there. If we can't stop them now, it's fine. We'll take it from them later. All good. Down over here, our outpost has been established. We can move up to... There's the gemstones up here, but to stay contiguous, we'll have to take this first. Why don't we go and explore, I guess. Go up this way. Curious what these guys are up to as well. And there's a sanctuary over here that we can ransack for more gold. Fantastic. Down over here, what are we looking at? 100 gold to rush this. Can't afford that. Up over here, 11 turns. Yikes. Not the best. And 1 turn until this is done. Alright, fair enough. We'll idle over here. Let's move you over this way. I believe the coast is over here. Alright. That's the turn. Looks like someone's coming up with a proposal over here. It is the Olmecs. They wish to trade luxuries. Yep, I'm going to accept that, of course. If we take a look at trade right now, looks like we're not actually trading anything. But eventually, it'll begin, and we'll start making some money. And if we need to buy anything from them as well, we can, of course. Trade goes both ways, right? Up over here, this has been built, this outpost over here. So why don't we go ahead and start grabbing some salt, because we don't yet have the mines required to extract copper. So let's go ahead and get the salt over here. And we have the Mycenaeans also. Told you they'll come crawling back to us. Fine. We'll accept, we'll accept. I could counter their offer and demand gold. Just sort of say like, hey, yeah, we'll accept the offer, but you gotta pay us first. But again, I would rather just have the trade deal to begin with, right? I'm kind of concerned about what these guys are planning on doing. I don't know how to keep them sort of at bay, as it were. I'm gonna stay stationed over here one more turn, see where they go, but they're probably gonna get that territory for themselves. Ooh, curiosity over here. A ruined shrine giving us 5 science points. Excellent. So there is still stuff to discover even in the later eras, but it doesn't have these same benefits. Does not have these same benefits. Let's go ahead and pull these guys back, because I think these guys will end up, yeah, finding these spots. Up over here, by the way, we've got pearls. Also a very valuable thing to pick up as a mercantile people. I don't know if we'll be able to get that far up north. It's actually not that far, so maybe yes, actually. We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. If I try to establish another outpost, the next one will cost us 80 influence. Yikes. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, sure, let's go ahead and ransack that sanctuary. Why not? Get that gold, right? Done. And that's the turn. Stuff, ransack successful. Carpentry has been researched. Knowledge is power. Yes, indeed. Good stuff. We can pick our next technology. Domestication costs or takes only 7 turns. It's not too bad. We don't have those horses yet, though. So we wouldn't be able to take full advantage of domestication. Though, again, it'll take 7 turns to get there. The wheel will take 40 turns to research. Yikes. That'll take quite a bit of time. Now, this is probably a good time for me to point out exactly what comes next. And I should have pointed this out earlier. I apologize that I didn't. The era star concept continues beyond the nomadic era, the Neolithic era, sorry. Each era, you have to acquire a certain number of stars to move on to the next era. And in order to do that, you'll want to accomplish a variety of things. They come under multiple categories, and each category has 3 stars available, each one being increasingly difficult to acquire. Depending on the faction you picked, you will have one of those methods reward you with extra fame, my apologies, extra fame every time you unlock a star. You can see, because we're merchants, the merchant stars give us 150 fame per star, whereas the, for example, expansionist stars only give us 100, scientist stars only give us 100, etc., etc. So that's another thing that's determined by which type of faction you ended up sort of going with, which style of faction you ended up going with. So again, the more money we make, the further down these the set of era stars we go, and again, we need 7 to actually move on to the next era. So you can't just stay focused on one method. You have to do more than just what your primary focus is, which is good. It's a good way to kind of force you to do multiple things. Now, a lot of these things just kind of happen naturally, and the reason why I realized I should bring this up right now is because of these scientist stars. The moment we get 4 technologies researched, we'll acquire a star. So it's not a good idea necessarily to wait for a 40-turn technology when we can get one in 7 and get another one in another 7 perhaps, and end up with getting at least 1 era star. So you kind of have to strategize your approach in that sense as well. So with that said, let's go ahead to the technology screen and pick up domestication. City defense is the other option. You know what, actually? Let's go with city defense. It's kind of funny. Didn't I just say that we're not going to research that for some time? And yet here we are. But city defense gets us to bronze working, and that had slipped my mind. So let's go ahead and do city defense. It'll take us 7 turns. It's not a long time at all. We're still fine. I'm not upset at my decision from earlier or anything. In fact, I think that 1 extra population we got was probably more valuable than the city defense technology will be. I think we can actually maybe also pull back 1 more person to turn into population. These guys have, I think, more or less finished exploring the extents of our continent, and until we get to certain technologies, we will not be able to embark onto the water. We have a couple folks left up over here. You can see they are starting to push harder and harder. I'll stay put over here. Again, when you're adjacent to an enemy unit or a, let's say, foreign unit, you kind of slow down their movement, and I'm just kind of trying to take advantage of that, I suppose, over here, slowing these guys down. But that is our turn, I believe. What's this? We've got a successful ransack. Okay, great. It's our turn then. The Haruppans have established themselves, and it looks like they have, in fact, established an outpost over here. Again, a little unfortunate, but we might be able to take that from them at a later point in time. Let's go ahead and pull ourselves back this way. We'll keep falling back and see if we can't at least establish this one for ourselves, prevent them from growing too strong up over here. Or if not up over here, because it's relatively empty, down over here we have the horses we can take. Up over here there are some valuable, terrain elements, I suppose, as you can see described at the bottom left corner over there. So it's not a completely invaluable spot, but doesn't have the resources that we've been rather actively chasing. What do over here? You can see, because these guys are standing here, I can't rush through. I have to go the long way around, or I can kind of force myself through multiple turns to push through. Let's go ahead and get these guys falling back, actually, and we'll put them into Kerma as population as well, I think. What else do we have? We have these guys up over here, still a bit to explore over here. There's more territory down over here. More land, I should say, down over here to explore. Alright, good stuff. 2 turns until this is done. You are 7 turns away, though we can just pay it out. And up over here, you're 4 turns away. Though again, we can just pay it out. Tempting. Maybe not just yet. Now you can see down over here, a new grievance is available. Go ahead and see what's going on. It's with the Mycenaeans. We have a crisis. They've claimed a territory on our border. So because they've gone ahead and established I guess it would be this this territory where, or oh no, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation. Mykini, because they've claimed this, and because it's right next to us, we can use that to force them to, for example, pay us or give us back that territory. Subra, that's a different. Oh, it's further down south there. Either way, they'll probably say no. We can renounce it to improve sort of how we feel about each other, or we can make that demand, or we can wait 10 turns and just see how things look and feel before we make that demand. It's a little premature, to be perfectly honest. I don't think we need to do that just quite yet. So let's hold off on it for now. Keep these guys coming back to Kerma. If these guys are blocked off over here. Alright. Who can play at that game? Down over here. Let's get these guys exploring. Oh, good. If we can grab more, I'm not going to complain. Wow. Finding animal remains really gave a huge boost to our science there, eh? And you can see we're very close to getting that scientist star, as well as the agrarian star from having a large population. Oh, fantastic. World deed accomplished. Ah, you achieved the following deed. Be the first to discover Kawa Ijen, which is this, I guess, volcano? That's a prairie. Folklore abounds regarding the violent eruptions and blue fire, but it is the disfiguring rocks at Kawa Ijen's heart that most frighten. Cool. And you can see how it impacts our civilization, our culture, I should say, if we were to control it. There are a few others as well, right? There was the mountains up over... Where are we? Here. We hover over that, you can see again, if we actually control this territory, there are quite a few benefits to be had. And I do wonder if I shouldn't let that influence me a little bit, actually. Because up over here, we've got horse and sage. Some extra sage to trade. Takes us a step away from the gemstones, but if I were to establish an outpost over here, it would cost us 80 influence. Still a long time away. Kind of funny, actually. Typically civics become available around this point in time, and there is a civic that speeds up the rate of influence gain, and it hasn't popped up yet, which is a little unfortunate. We could move on to bronze working and start taking advantage of everything that it gives us, including the access to copper. Let's go ahead and do exactly not that. We'll go with domestication and acquire that era star for ourselves nice and early. Close that. Who else needs moving? These guys. Yeah, let's keep pulling back. Cross this river. That's really unfortunate. I think they're going to claim this as well. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not my sort of primary, or my prime directive, as it were. What's this over here? We've got saffron. Okay, interesting. Good variety of luxury resources. I quite like it. Ah. Create your religion. This isn't what I was talking about previously, but we do also have a civic unlocked, it looks like, so we will be able to take advantage of that. Yes, a blooming state. Beautiful. Okay. The first order of business. Pick the base of your people's beliefs. Polytheism gives us plus 10 faith, plus 5 influence on holy sites, which are structures you actually have to build, and plus 5 faith on holy sites as well. Whereas shamanism or shamanism gives you plus 10 faith and plus 10 influence on holy sites. I've done polytheism pretty much every other time, so I'm going to go ahead and experiment and go with shamanism this time. Sure. It actually changes how the holy site looks, so I want to experiment with shamanism. It's found our religion. And that will have impacts down the line as well. As we move on to later eras, it will change how things get approached. We've got the agrarian star, excellent. So you can see we've got that. We got the fame from it as well. And we're soon going to unlock the scientist star too. Great. We had a grievance with the Mycenaeans, a new one. They attacked me. Where did you attack? Is this going to be an issue? Like I was saying with regards to the Olmecs up over here, we can attack each other without declaring war. It's still a little, fuzzy in this era with regards to fighting each other. So that is a possibility, and we're seeing that with the Mycenaeans right now. We'll see if we can win that fight. I kind of have my doubts. We have the upper... Oh, actually, yeah, we do have the high ground. But they can very quickly acquire it for themselves. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. We'll tackle that in a bit, though. First, our civic. Empire Foundation. By what right do we rule? So civics get unlocked through actions. As you, for example, start to fight in wars, you'll start to see certain civic decisions you have to make with regards to warfare. As you, unlock your religion, you'll start to deal with faith-based civics. So all that kind of stuff happens as you make active decisions. So depending on what you do, you'll have these options coming up. So founding myth, by what right do we rule? We have two options, natural right or divine mandate. They will have their direct impact, you can see rather plainly over here, but they will also have these sort of more, I would say, long-term impacts in changing your people's ideologies. Now, ideologies are important for various reasons. For example, being of a certain inclination has these various impacts, as you can see as I hover over these tooltips. But beyond that as well, your ideologies will impact your relationship with your neighbors. People who are ideologically similar are more likely to get along and less likely to want war with each other than people who are ideologically different. And that will actually impact war exhaustion, how well a war can go, how long a war can last. So these systems are pretty interesting. And again, depending on if you're role-playing or you're min-maxing, you'll want to make decisions differently. I quite like moving towards progress. I feel like that's the right way to... I mean, I don't know. It's a driving force for me, I guess. It's either progress or tradition. I quite like progress. So we're going to go with this, and, you know, quite fortunately, it is also the decision that gives us extra influence generation on the main plaza. So let's go ahead and enact that. Or we could decide on this other civic. We have just one civic point, so we can only pick one right now. But I know I want to do the founding myth first. We claim inherent dominion over the land and beasts. The reason why I want to do that is because, like I said earlier, influence is very important early on, and now it's growing at a faster rate for us. Excellent. But now on to this battle. Let's go ahead and actually fight this one. Both sides are evenly matched. Yeah, they're probably going to climb up over here. So let's confirm the battle. The way fighting works is, at first you must deploy... Ooh, I've got the even higher ground at a choke point over here. All right, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and deploy over here then. They have to, as the attacker, either eliminate us or capture our flag over here. It takes some time. We do want to make sure that they don't have too easy a time of just kind of camping out there and winning the battle. Why I'm tempted to still deploy myself down over there, but then they'll come up over here, share the high ground with me, and eliminate me. So let's stay back over here and see what they end up doing. So that's the deployment phase. Now it breaks down into turns. When there are... I have 2 rounds to take control of the capture point, or the battle will end and you will lose. All right, there you go. Hopefully we can very quickly eliminate them. I'm not exactly sure. We might lose this. Not the end of the world if we do. But the way battles work is they are split over multiple turns, depending on how many units are involved and which era it is. This is a relatively small battle, so it'll only last 1 turn, but each turn has 3 rounds of combat. Hopefully, over the course of the next 2 rounds, we're going to win. So let's go ahead and strike at these guys again. They'll probably strike back, we'll cause damage, and then we'll strike them again and hopefully win this. So that's how battle works out. High ground matters, river crossings matter, adjacency matters. There are other factors that come into play to determine who will do better or worse in a particular engagement, and it looks like we will win this back. Excellent. Victory is ours. The battle is won. Beautiful. And that is because we eliminated them. Even though they held our flag, we eliminated them before they won it. But are you telling me they're engaging us again? Oh, that's not good. That's not good. They had that second unit that they're sending in as well. So we're going to go ahead and retreat this time around. We are weaker. We're already hurt, so let's pull back. Live to fight another day, right? Now, unfortunately, that drops our war support. So if we take a look at the Mycenaeans over here, you'll see our war support initially increased because of our victory, but then it dipped because we had to retreat. Their war support, meanwhile, is at the moment decreasing because we retreated the one time. However, their loss was more impactful. So it still is net positive in our favor. However, could have been better if we didn't have to force that retreat over there. Now, war support becomes relevant in an actual war. So we'll talk about that when we actually declare a war. And these Mycenaeans look like they are asking for a beating. So we'll get the war engine started soon enough. You got to use that money for something, right? We're traders to make money. What does that money get used for? War, apparently. Looks like we have the Egyptians entering the fray as well. Okay, fair enough. And what are these guys up to? Let's go ahead and... 80 influence will take us forever to get. Keep... You know what? Actually, let's go ahead and split up over here. Move these guys up here. Just keep an eye on these guys and see if we can't prevent them from taking this territory as well. Because then we can maybe stop them from taking this one that does have access to horses. And though we will have access to horses elsewhere as well, I wouldn't mind more access to more horses from more places. You guys waiting up over there. Get these guys moving further down. How many rivers over here? Over this way. Let's go. Ooh, there's a sanctuary there for some quick money, but I think it'll be hard to get to, actually. Yeah, quite a ways to go. Keep exploring down over here. A little valley. I don't know if we can cross this. We can indeed. Beautiful. What do you know? Another sanctuary down over here. And some more gemstones here, too. Ooh, this is a very rich part of the world. Okay, fair enough. Up over here, these guys, let's try and pull back to home turf so we can start to heal up a little bit. I'm a little worried this unit's going to get defeated. We're going to need all the strength we can get in order to go to war, right? Now, Irma. Well, that's not good. Gotta still stay focused on food production over here just to keep ourselves sustainable. I think maybe we should establish a farmer's quarter just to get more food going. The other option, of course, is to attach one of these spots that produces a decent bit of food and take advantage of that shared kind of production and shared use of resources. Man, this really was not the ideal spot to build something. Especially as we start to exploit some of these resources. But it's fine. We're going to bounce back just fine. +3 food available over here. +1 up there. Again, because cities can basically span an entire continent, it doesn't matter that this spot is not so ideal. I'm just saving up some influence for another outpost, which is why I don't want to do the attachment right now. So that's an option. We have 140 gold. You wonder how much this will cost me. Pop you down over here. 113. What else am I doing with this money, right? I could take a look at getting some warriors, so it'll cost population as well, which I don't think I can quite afford right now. Well, let's go ahead and get the food over here. Right now, we get +1 in 12 turns. If we establish this by rushing it, +1 in 8 turns. Can't complain about that. Now, establishing quarters will reduce stability, so you just have to be careful about that, especially when you're using one city to span the entire, continent or world or what have you. Let's get these guys back over here and disbanding as well to further boost the population over here, because we are right now... Yeah, we need it. I think we need it. Go ahead and expand these guys. They're not the strongest fighting unit or anything like that, so I see no value in keeping them out and about. You can only upgrade them further down the line, so I think I'm fine with disbanding them for now. We could, let's see, if we go ahead and do this, +1 in 8 turns. Keep you over here. See the change in industry. I wonder if... It's not a good idea. It reduces the turns rather significantly, doesn't it? We could take advantage of our other resource over here, obsidian. +2% industry per obsidian. Not bad. Not bad at all. Or we could take a look at the granary, +2 food per farmer. 12 turns. Sure, let's go ahead and establish the granary, or the granary. It's one of those words that I've always been thrown off by. Let's go ahead and establish one of these, and then we can take a look at some of the other production methods. Up over here, 2 turns until this is done, and here 5 turns until this is done. Alright, fair enough. Looks like we have a couple of events over here. Keepers of the Creed. An unexpected rivalry has erupted between 2 temples in Kerma, each representing a different sect of Nubian shamanism. One temple argues that religious matters should be left in the hands of dispassionate men, while the other contends that only women, with their capacity for nurturing life, possess the necessary understanding for these affairs. These quarrels must stop before your inhabitants start fighting each other. Who should be your religious leaders? Now, these decisions, we've been told by the developers, will again have impacts down the line. So a decision I make now might cause friction at a later era. It doesn't mean in the next 5 or 10 turns. It could be 100 turns down the line. These things could come up again. We're going to go ahead with all over here. Again, it's progress oriented, so sure, let's do that. Any can lead our religion, as neither men nor women are privileged over the other by the gods or nature. Go ahead and confirm that. There's something else to tackle as well. The darkest depths. Miners and prospective miners and their kin from Kerma are afraid. Ancient traditions are strong, and many believe the mythical beasts of the old legends are very real. Now, rumors are rife that it was no ordinary bear that attacked a hunting party somewhere, where I guess they got attacked, but a monstrous creature whose den is the city's nearby mine. Oh, okay. Many are likely to down tools without action. How should we respond to the rumors? Either we dismiss it, giving us forced labor on Kerma for 10 turns. That's 10 turns of -10 stability, but +14 industry. Don't mind that. There is investigate. To satisfy the miners, we'll fund an expedition. There's a chance of unexpected consequences, giving us a boost to stability. Or we can embrace, play along, and send in a mighty warrior who'll slay a sham chimera monster. What could go wrong? The way it asks that question. So patriotic reduces the cost of producing units. Not too shabby, but I think we'll go with dismiss. The miners will not shy from their duties. They will understand their follies. We could actually use that forced labor a little bit. Plus it aligns with our social access, right? Sure. Confirm that. That should help this stuff get done a little bit faster. Can't complain about that. All right, good stuff. But you can see as well how stability is going to drop now. Problematic, but we'll recover. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Go ahead and end the turn over here. The Assyrians have entered the fray. Domestication has been researched. Excellent. We will now have access to horses if we so choose, and we have unlocked the Scientist Star by virtue of acquiring 4 technologies. Beautiful. Beautiful. Another grievance over here. I believe the Mycenaeans have probably attacked us again. Again? These guys up over here. These guys are racking up some grievances. I think I'm going to go to war with the Mycenaeans. It wasn't my original intent, but they're being real aggressive over here, and I don't like it. I think they're trying to claim all this for themselves, so they want us out of there. And how much does it cost again for the next outpost to be founded? It will cost us just 80 if we do it up over here. Not too far away from it. We're not too far away from it. Let's go ahead and pull these guys back. At least one of them. Let's pull at least one of these parties back. Because these guys will still take some time before they're able to strike at us, right? And I did spot a sanctuary over here, so why don't we go ahead and burn it down. Where'd it go? There it is. Burn it down, get that gold, and use it for literally anything. Yeah. Actually, let's make sure these guys don't follow through with that order. Down over here, we can keep exploring. There's a sanctuary over here, too. Let's go ahead and burn that down. More money coming our way. And there is another knowledge, curiosity, or a discovery to be made over here as well, so we'll try and chase that too. Next bit of technology, let's go ahead and research what? The wheel is a lot closer now. Riding is not a bad idea, actually. Let's go ahead and chase riding. The reason why we're doing that is not just the market quarters that help us generate wealth and laws over here, giving us a civic point, but also because riding is actually one of the competitive deeds we can try and accomplish in order to get some more fame. Where is it? There we go. Discover riding gives us 50 fame, so not a bad idea to chase that, and then maybe we can chase after roads so we can move around a bit more quickly. Probably not a bad idea. All right, things are looking pretty good. Again, we have our fair struggles as well, but overall I think we're doing okay. 4 turns until you're done, 1 turn until you're done, and then we should be... we don't yet have bronze working, but we should maybe investigate that soon afterwards. After riding, I mean. That turn done, the people of Furud converted to Nubian shamanism. Let's take a look at the impact of our faith, though. It's quite widespread. Yeah, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. And as far as culture is concerned, yeah, we dominate this territory. There might be... No. The holder of this territory is the Mycenaeans, but our culture dominates over theirs because it is the superior culture, of course. They'll learn their lesson for all this aggression. They keep at it, eh? They just keep at it. We can no longer retreat. Oh, there will be hell to pay. There will be hell to pay. I gotta raise... Yeah, that was the most aggressive I've seen the AI be. There's going to be war. But folks, war will have to wait until at least next time, because this is what we're calling it a session. I'm going to try and keep these mini-series episodes an hour long each. I think it keeps them a bit more manageable than an 8-hour live stream like we did a couple of weeks ago now at the time of this release, so that was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that 8-hour live stream, I do recommend you check it out. We had a lot of fun. We did a lot of experimentation and exploration there as well. But so far, things are looking all right over here. I mean, Kerma wasn't founded on the most ideal of territory. It was, yes, a move out of desperation, but I think I am glad that we made that move. We forced the... well, now Mycenaeans, to establish themselves in what is hopefully going to end up being less ideal territory, and we've claimed for ourselves the marble and the obsidian over here as well, while also establishing ourselves, you know, in rather, I would say, rich lands, and we will continue to do so next turn as well as we prepare for war against the Mycenaeans. Again, sincerely was not expecting them to be this aggressive, but hey, that'll add some spice to our merchant life, I suppose. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you know what to do. Leave a like down below. Like I said earlier, if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts on decisions I make, I'm totally open to feedback, so, you know, keep it all coming. Let me know down below. And again, if you have questions, I will try and find you answers in one way, shape, or form, and I will try and get those to you as soon as possible. The next episode will hopefully be releasing in the next handful of days, and if you would like to keep up with Humankind coverage, as well as coverage of other strategy games in general, don't hesitate to subscribe. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big ol' thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.